What's happening, guys? Silent Mike, Super Training Gym. Here we're going to talk about my new squat form, what I've been doing in training, and kind of update you guys on what happened to my back, because I get a lot of questions on that. I don't know if it was injured, I don't know if it was hurt. I mean, I do know if it was hurt, it fucking hurt. But I didn't go to a doctor, I didn't get official diagnosis. What I think happened was just the volume with conventional deadlift was a little bit beyond anything I had handled before, mixed with the way that I squat, slightly bent over low bar. I use my low back a lot in my squat. It is kind of my strength. And so those kind of combined, just I guess, lack of a better term, led to some overtraining, something tweaked in my back. All I did to fix it was take 4 to 6 weeks off squats and deads. I did belt squats. You guys can go back and check the videos to keep the volume and the hypertrophy going in my legs, so I didn't lose as much as if I just did nothing. You know, when you get injured, you got to start getting a little bit more creative and start thinking about what you can do. Stop worrying about like, oh no, I can't squat, I can't conventional deadlift, I can't front squat. Find ways around it. I did Bulgarians, I did some lunges, I did some sled work, ways to still work my legs without getting that kind of axial load on my spine. The things I changed in my squat coming back, kind of the rehab process. I went to more of a typical, I guess, weightlifting, high bar type squat. So I moved my stance in. I also straightened out my toes a little bit. I'm leading my squat with my knees, not my hips. I don't think there's one that's right or wrong. I just think it works for different people in different styles. I also don't think it's black and white, high bar and low bar that everybody talks about. The high bar and low bar is more the bar placement itself. The staying more upright, for me, I have a little bit longer torso, and to stay more upright, what I do is I drive my knees forward rather than if I lay my hips back. If I hip hinge, there's obviously gonna be a little bit of angle from my hips to where the bar is. Both styles of squat, any style of squat, your goal is to keep that bar over your midfoot and also keep that bar on a straight bar path. Straight up and down is gonna be the most efficient way to lift the most amount of weight. As well as move my stance in, toes straighter. I switched to an Olympic heel. I'm using the Reebok lifter. The lifter is one of the smallest heels I think on the market, so it's comfortable, it fits well, and it's a small heel. I don't have that many mobility issues, but now that I'm not getting my hips back, your hips have to go somewhere for you to hit depth. Hitting depth is your hip crease below your knee. So for me, I need to get those knees forward and out now more than before. I would just keep pushing my hips back. Yes, that can lead to some forward lean in the squat. A lot of Instagram, YouTube comments are like, oh, that's a good morning, not a squat. It's not. The only bad thing that can come of that is typically when your hips shoot up first out of the hole. So if your hips shoot up first out of the hole, now you're in a non-optimal position to get back to recovery. What you want is that hip and shoulder angle to remain the same through the squat. If it's a little tilted, that's okay. Obviously, Lane Norton's one person that everyone ridicules, but the guy squats 661 pounds. Can't really argue it. There's a little bit more low back involved. The shin angle is typically a little bit more vertical with this style of squat. And so that is what I'm trying to avoid for now. I actually squatted 495 pounds for a pretty good single last week, 475 pounds for a set of 5 with this quote unquote new style of mine. And I have no back pain, so that's all I can really ask for. I'm also gonna do more sumo deadlifts. The majority of my volume and heavier work's gonna be sumo. It takes a little bit of pressure off my low back for me. And my conventional work will be almost more accessory, supplemental to build back that low back, but not overload it. One thing where I hurt my back 2 or 3 years ago, the biggest thing was breathing and bracing. Everyone talks about get tight, but what does that mean? I like to really think about breathing into my stomach. No, technically you can't breathe into your stomach. That's why these are called cues, not like direction. You breathe into your stomach. I think about breathing into my belt or under my belt. I also think about breathing around my stomach. So I think about breathing into my sides, into my low back, and almost pushing myself down like a hydraulic or a sponge type deal, and squishing myself down, compacting my entire midsection from ribs to hip. And that's going to allow you to transfer power from the ground, from your shoulders into the bar, depending on the lift you're doing. Main cue with the squat for me right now is to drive my hips straight down. And for me, that's leading with my knees, as I mentioned before. If your hips go straight down, the bar is a little bit higher placed on my shoulders. It's going to allow it to remain over my mid-foot, keeping that optimal bar path and driving back into it. That's just a couple ways, guys, that I've switched up my squat. I am in a cut, so we'll see where the strength goes. Everything's feeling pretty good. It's time for me to go deadlift and squat. If that video helped you guys at all, give it a share, give it a like, give it a subscribe. Silent Mike, I'm out of here. Thanks.